Hey there, this is Dr. Dave, and welcome back to our channel where I help you build a thriving chiropractic practice. Today, we're diving into a topic that can make or break your practice. That's right, hiring the right staff, or what I call team. Whether you're just starting out or looking to expand, your team is probably the most significant backbone of your business. I want you to stay tuned as we talk you through the key traits to look for any potential hires, how to streamline your hiring process, and the common hiring mistakes to avoid. And stick around to the end because I've got a special offer to help you build your dream team. Now, I want you to know this is going to be a little longer than we normally do, but I think it's extraordinarily important. So let's get started. All right. First things first, let's talk about the traits you should look for in a potential hire. The right staff can elevate your practice and improve your patient experiences and boost your bottom line. But here are some key traits that I want you to focus on. Probably the most important, so this is going to be number one, communication skills. Whether you're a front desk receptionist or a chiropractic assistant, or even a billing specialist, you must have strong communication skills, and they're essential. You want someone who can engage patients with a warm or warmly professional tone while conveying essential information very clearly. Many people screw this up because they don't think that patients want that in terms of good communication in a professional manner spoken clearly. But honestly, it becomes extraordinarily important. Every staff member is going to be valuable to that communication process. Number two, sympathy and patient-centered attitude. Your office should only be concerned about one thing and one thing only, is that your patients get better. If your patients aren't getting better, that's your reputation. But remember, your team should give a whole lot of care to your patients and genuinely care about your patients' well-being. This just isn't a checking the box thing. It's about building rapport and trust with every patient who walks through your door, because they can tell you they can go somewhere else. Number three, adaptability. The chiropractic world can be a fast-paced, unpredictable world. Look for candidates who can roll with the punches. And I look for people who are comfortable, especially in the interview process. Whether it's a sudden schedule change or a new practice management system, your staff must be flexible, easy enough going to be able to accommodate these changes. Because let's face it, change is not easy, and it's not easy for anybody, especially your employees. Number four, organizational skills. I'll be first to admit this is not my strength and something I work on a regular basis. But efficiency is key in a busy practice. Staff members should be detailed oriented and able to manage multiple tasks without dropping the ball. I see this all the time in practices that I coach where people are unsure of what to do, so they do nothing. The best thing to do is continue to take care of the patient and don't drop the ball. They can't afford to do that. Number five, cultural fit. This is so important for so many reasons, but the primary is the culture of your office is a reflection of you and the attitude that you want to be able to provide. Every employee should actually meet you there. It's really a good thing that the rest of your staff gets along with your new hire. A great resume just isn't enough. If they're not a good fit for your team dynamic, they're probably not the best, even if they have the best resume. Now that you know what to look for, let's talk about how to streamline the hiring process. One of the most common things I see is there isn't a clear job description. So the first step is you want a clear job description and be very specific about the qualities, the roles, and the qualifications that you want that person to fulfill. Because if you don't do that, there's going to be a lot of confusion about what a potential employee is going to come into the practice with or to do. The clearer you are, the more qualified the applicants you'll attract. So in your description, you almost want a job description listed. Be very specific. You don't need to worry about scaring people off, because if they're scared about your qualifications that are needed for the job, they're probably not the right person for you. Number two, let's pre-screen those candidates. Use a variety of different tools that are out there. There are some job employment websites out there, and you probably know who they are. They have a lot of these tools available. Most employers don't set them up. When I started doing that, we saw a huge change in how every employee that was screened comes through our system. And we really were able to wean out a lot of people very quickly. So use online forms to gather essential information before the interview. And if you can, I would suggest having a two-step process. The first step, you find somebody you like, you should have a phone conversation. It's 5 or 6 minutes. It's not very long. Who are they? Do they really want this job? Are they aware of the qualifications? And then how do they answer questions on the phone very quickly? It's not prolonged. It's very simple. And you just qualify them by saying, do you know the position? Do you know how much it pays? Are you able to get here? Do you have any questions about the job process or the outline or the job description that was listed? If they're okay with all of that, you get a good sense of them on the phone, which you get to hear. Remember, you're on the phone with them. They're going to be answering your phone. You're going to know how they actually come across on the phone. As they say, are they smiling on the other side of that phone call? Because that smile can actually come through during that conversation. So make sure you're using this. This saves a lot of time by weeding out a lot of the unqualified candidates very early on, which is essential when you're looking for the right fit. Number three, structure your interviews. I want you to develop a core of questions to assess the skills, experience, and cultural fit. Skills depends, right? So if we have a chiropractic assistant, they're probably not going to have the skills that you are really looking for because these folks are generally a lower wage position and they're just helping you out. They'll learn to be able to follow directions. That's the main thing. Can you follow direction? Can you physically do the job? Those would be important. But when you're interviewing an associate or a billing clerk, you have a lot of very important questions to ask. And they need to be able to answer them comfortably and fairly quickly. So include scenario-based questions in a lot of this. This will help gauge how they handle common practice situation and making sure that they can handle the things that you do in your office. Number four, skill assessment. Consider a brief practical test. For example, have a mock patient interaction for a front desk staff or a basic billing task for an office assistant. I find that if I provide those skills and I can see them in action, remember, they're here for an interview. There's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure put on them. So they're already under stress. They're probably under stress more than they will be in your normal position. So if they can get through that fairly simply, then you probably got a great fit. If they can't get through it at all, I would not waste my time. It's important that they can be put under pressure and be able to perform. Number five, probably the most overlooked and thing that isn't done, which is reference checks. Don't skip this step, please. It's vital that you hear from previous people that actually worked with this person. I always ask for 3 to 5 professional references. If they were to give me 3 with 1 personal, that is fine. But remember, just like you and I, we're going to pick the best people to answer the questions. If they're legitimate, they're going to automatically give you those employers that they list on their resume previously, unless there was a really bad situation where they had to leave the position for whatever reason. It's okay to question that, but I wouldn't dig deep into it because most people feel very uncomfortable. But try to get a general sense of what happened and why they don't want you to contact. But speak to previous employers if you can. Get the insight to these candidates. Things like work ethic, reliability. How about just overall performance? Would they hire this person back if it was possible? Following these steps will not only save you time, but it will also increase the likelihood of you hiring the right person for your practice. Even the best hiring plans can go off track if you fall into a few of the common traps. So I want to list those for you right now. The number one is rushing the process. Your hiring out of desperation usually leads to poor decisions. There's an old adage that's said out there is slow to hire and quick to fire. Take your time, find that right person. I know we're under a lot of pressure. We're under a lot of stress. We need that help today. but don't make a quick decision that's going to cost you dearly in the end, because bringing somebody on can cost you financially so much more than hiring the right person, even if you have to take your time. So take your time and vet those candidates thoroughly. Number two, avoiding those red flags. I've done this so many times where it's like, well, maybe it's going to be okay. When in reality, it is not okay. And if they're going to fall into those red flags and you see that on a regular basis, probably not a fit for your particular situation in your office. I'll give you an example. I always ask through my interviews if somebody's had a negative response or a argument with a previous employer, manager, or a supervisor. I want to hear them and I want to know how they're going to explain that to me. Because if they go on and on and on about how horrible of a person that person was and how it was all their fault and yada, 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 hopefully you can see what I'm saying. That's probably not the person you want in your office. If they simply say, it just wasn't a fit, this was our argument, that's it, I just knew it was time to go. That's a much better response than somebody who gossips about their last position and how the other person was so horrible and it was potentially not their fault. I know this sounds difficult, but you really have to pay attention to red flags. Make sure you're looking for them as well. I think it's incredibly important. Make sure you get a hold of some of their references. I refuse to hire anybody unless I've at least talked to 2 people of the 3 to 5. So my response is 2. Some of my colleagues will do 3 references that they want to speak to before they actually make a decision. Now, there are some rules about what you can ask employees or potential employees about their previous employment. So you do have to be careful and make sure you know your state laws on this, because it can come back to hurt you if you're asking the wrong question. For example, you can't ask a woman if she plans on having a baby soon. That's illegal. You can't do that. So really make sure you know what your questions are, because if you have the right questions, red flags will jump up and you'll be able to solve those problems before they even become a problem. Number 3, not defining the role clearly. We talked about this earlier on in this video about being ambiguous. Ambiguity leads to misaligned expectations. You want that new employee knowing exactly what they're going to be responsible for, how they're going to be held accountable, and what they're going to be able to do. We want the candidate to understand what's expected from them on day one, and then be consistent and do that. How about number 4, neglecting training and onboarding? Wow, this is a big one. Most of my doctors out there don't have a training process that gets a new employee from day 1 to day 90. You heard me right. 90 days, 3 months. It takes an employee 12 to 18 months to actually fit into the position. So don't expect them to know everything that first month, but you should have a training schedule weekly to get them to a goal where they know all their duties and responsibilities after 90 days. I would highly recommend doing an evaluation at that time and making sure it's appropriate. But remember, today's video is about hiring, not training. We do cover that, and we cover it a lot in our course because I think it's so important. Make sure you provide this training through a regular process that has your handbook in place. All the materials are in place. You have HIPAA training that you have to be able to document. So really make sure you have that all listed. It's really, really important. Number 5, failing to assess cultural fit. Skills can be taught. Don't forget that. Personality cannot. And attitude is everything. So really make sure that you're listening to that person, looking at them, whether or not they can be part of it. This is where I tell people, have your staff with you. You might be the owner of the clinic, but your staff knows you probably better than you, and they also know the culture. Can your front desk work with an assistant they don't get along with? Probably not. So don't do that. Have their front staff there, have that support personnel there to give you feedback on what their thoughts are. Make sure your candidate aligns with your practice's values. And also, how about your patient care? So make sure you're all in alignment. So there you have it. The essential steps in hiring the right staff for your chiropractic practice. Remember, a strong team is not built overnight, but the right strategies you can attract and attain the top talent in your area that elevates your practice. I want to go off script just a little bit right here because I want to tell you the right team, the right people working for you is what allows you to free up your time. Bad hires, ugly hires, hires that were rushed that don't really do well will cost you emotionally. It'll cost you a lot of time and money. Take your time. Please take your time. Find the right candidates. Build your team. You want people better than you. The more people that are better than you that are working for you, generating money, are going to probably generate more money than you. And I'm okay with that in my business. But remember, take your time. If you found today's video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more practice building tips. And if you're serious about taking your practice to the next level, I want you to click the link below to schedule a free, no obligation 30-minute discovery call with me. Let's discuss how my chiropractic training program online can help you build a team that makes your practice go from good to great. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.